everybody, it's the Warhipster here coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the Wrecka Krew from Brutal and Cunning, the new Kill Team box set that Games Workshop have very kindly sent me early to build up and paint with all of you. And, well, I've been looking forward to this one because we haven't done some orcs for quite a while. So, we're going to jump in and we're going to start painting them in just a moment. Before we do that, they have all been primed in grey Seer. And we do have all 8 of the crew, including this bomb squig, which we're going to do both the squigs right at the end. So we'll do them together. I just don't have enough painting handles. So we're going to focus on these 6 orc boys first. Well, 5 boys and 1 knob. We're going to focus on them before we do the squigs, and then we'll do the squigs right at the end separately. So with all that out of the way, we're going to adjust the camera, going to get our paints, get our brushes, and then we're going to jump right in and start painting them. Okay, so the place we're going to start on all of our orcs is with some Gutrippa Flesh. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all of their skin. Now, you do have to kind of be a little bit on the hunt for it, because we do have areas such as the kind of torso just under here, which is in fact orc flesh. It's not just a shirt. So what I would recommend is having the box art open in front of you, just so you can see where it all goes. Because some of them are wearing shirts. But we are going to apply this over top of all of these details. Just like this. And the one place we're going to avoid that is fleshy is the bottom lip of each of our orcs. So with all that Gutrippa Flesh applied, we're then going to shade it. And we're going to take some Biel-Tan Green. I'm going to use that to do this. So with that all done, we're now going to move on to a different colour. And, well, we're going to pop these 2 to one side. And the reason we had those 3 on camera, so these 3 in particular, the reason why we've picked those 3 is because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to colour in these 3's trousers with some Ratling Grime. And, well, we're just going to pick a place to start, which will be kind of right under here. And then we're just going to work our way around. Now for the other 3, we are still going to use some Ratling Grime. However, it's not going to be on their trousers. It's going to be on their shirts, if they're wearing them. And with that Ratling Grime all applied, just to add a little bit of variation, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Wyldwood and we're going to apply this over top of this individual's trousers that we've already done with the Ratling Grime to give us a really nice kind of dark cold brown. Like so. But what we're also going to do with the Wyldwood is we're going to apply this over the top of one of our remaining shirts. So not this one, because he's already got brown trousers. However, for this one, for example, who's not wearing a shirt. For this one, who's also not wearing a shirt. Well, there we go. Scratch that last bit from the record. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to be applying this over most of the miniatures. So Black Legion actually features on, you know, all of our remaining trousers and shirts and things, but it does feature on quite a lot of the kind of pieces of armor. So what I would recommend is having your box art in front of you to figure out where it all goes, because it's going to appear on a lot of details. Now there's also a couple of bits and pieces of armor which have things like black checkerboard. We're going to just leave those for now. But like I said, I would recommend getting your box art open and just applying this over top of all of those really dark black details scattered around the miniatures. But what we will do is we'll come back and I'll show you exactly where we've placed all of that Black Legion across all of the models. Well, I promised you a whole lot of Black Legion, and there you go. As you can see, there is tons and tons of it. So, just to kind of give you the full gamut, I've missed a boot just there. I'll go back and do that in just a minute. That's what I mean. There's so much Black Legion, you actually forget to do bits. There you go. And there you go. As you can see, like I said, ton of Black Legion. Don't miss a boot. Anyway, we're going to pop the rest of them to one side, because what we are going to do is another generic coat across all of them, which is going to be some Cygor Brown. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of the kind of leather belts and straps and stuff like that. So, starting here on this individual, we're going to take that Cygor Brown. And we're just going to start down here on the belt. So with all that Cygor Brown applied, what we're going to do now is going to take some Blood Angels Red, and we're going to apply this over some of the brighter red details. So this is going to be things like this tabard and some of the kind of components, I guess, or parts of the casings of some of the rockets. And we're also going to use this over the top of some of the smooth cables, but not all of them. Need to have a little bit of variation in our lives. And you'll notice I'm talking about a bunch of things that aren't actually on this miniature. So we are just going to swap over to another one in just a second once we've got the back of this tabard done. There we go. Now there are some other red details on here as well. I'm going to use a different red for that. So there we go. That bit is all done. So, as an example, for example on this individual here, we're going to take some of that Blood Angels Red and we're going to apply this over the top of the tip of the rocket. like that. And that's it for this guy. We don't have any of the brighter red on the knob, but then we have, for example, this guy, where we can pick out the kind of top. Well, this is the bottom that then becomes the top cable here. As well as a couple of the components of some of those rockets on the back. Next up, we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade and we're going to apply this over top of all of the weapon grips. With that Agrax Earthshade all applied, we're then going to take some Imperial Fist. I'm going to apply this over top of our remaining smooth cables. So this one here, for example. There's one on the back there as well. Next up, we're going to take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of the teeth and those bottom lips that we left all those takes ago. That I swear I didn't forget about. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde and we're going to apply this over the top of any of the little kind of teeth, trinkets and stuff that are kind of hanging around across the various models. Next up, we want to again take some Wyldwood. Only this time we're going to be using this over the top of the Orc's teeth. Next up, we're going to take some Flesh Terrors Red and we're going to do some of those darker red details that we talked about. So this is going to be areas such as the gob here on the tummy of the boss knob. Like that sort of thing. And we're also going to be looking at stuff like the crossbones up here. Like that. there's also one more bit, I think. Yes, on here, which is going to be the kind of, well, it's the banding around the hammer. So with that all done, we are now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors, and we're going to apply this over, well, pretty much all of the remaining details. Now this is just going to act as a base coat for some of our alternate metallics. However, one of the things we are going to avoid is anything that, according to the box art, is white. So we've got areas such as the face on the tummy there. That's not going to be coloured in Iron Warriors. And we've got the main part of this rocket on the rocket pistol. That's also going to be left. But otherwise, as we've kind of mentioned a couple of times, I'd recommend having the box art open in front of you just to see where to put these details. But for now, just going to cover this over the vast majority of the models. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down brass scorpion. I'm going to use this to create that variation in our metallics. So we're going to start up here on the boss pole. I'm going to colour in the fist. Just like that sort of thing. We're also going to pick out kind of things like the teeth on the hammer. Like that. We've got the band just here that we're going to pick out. Just like that sort of thing. And kind of just sort of pick out the bits you want to really at this point. Just to break up that silver a little bit. So with that all done, it's time to add some shades. And, well, the first of these is going to be some Nuln Oil. And we're going to be applying this over the top of the majority of the miniatures. So we're going to be applying this over the top of the black, the white, the silver, and the red. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Agrax Earthshade. I'm going to use this to shade the brass scorpion. So with that all done, our Wrecka crew are now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and I think they look absolutely fantastic. However, we're not going to leave them there. We're going to take them to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some highlights. And there's going to be a little bit of kind of freehand and kind of sort of detailing and stuff that's going to happen as well. So we're going to start with those highlights, and well, the colour that we're going to be using first is some thinned down Deepkin Flesh, and we're going to be using this to highlight all of the green skin. So we're just going to take a small amount of that on our brush, not very much at all, and we're just going to start picking out the sharpest points in all the skin. Just like that sort of thing. So with all of that Deepkin Flesh applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull. We're going to use this to do two things. One is to highlight all of those little horns and teeth trinkets scattered around, like that sort of thing. But the other is to actually pick out the teeth on the orcs themselves. So with that Screaming Skull all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet, and we're going to use this to highlight all of the red details. But what we're also going to do is we're going to use this to pick out the eyeballs of our orcs. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Corax White. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our white details. So with that all done, the next colour we're going to use is some thinned down Eshin Grey. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the black clothes and non-armour black details. So we're looking at things like gloves and boots and black detailing on things like the weapons and stuff like that. Naturally, we're also looking at things like the trousers and shirts. All of the black armour we're going to leave for now. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to add just a little bit of a kind of spot highlight to the sharpest points in all of those black details. Again, just focusing on the non-armor bits. So with all of those other black details now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Hand Steel. And we're going to use this to highlight all of our remaining black details, which is the armour. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker, and we're going to use this to highlight all of our silver. So with all that Ironbreaker applied, we're now going to take some thinned down Runelord Brass, and we're going to use this to highlight all of our Brass Scorpion. So with that all done, the Wrecka mob is, well, finished. However, we're not going to leave them there. We are in fact going to add a couple of little extra bits of kind of detailing and stuff. And this is all going to be that freehand we talked about earlier. So there's two colours we're basically going to do, and one of them is some thinned down Word Bearer's Red. I'm going to use this to do things like add some checkerboard to some of the kind of, well, to this gun basically along this this little bit here, and we're also going to apply it to like one or two of the shoulder pads, but we'll see how we go. So what we're going to do for a checkerboard pattern is we're going to take our Word Bearer's Red on our brush, and we're just going to basically draw out a kind of pattern by just drawing a line going straight like this. Then we're going to draw another line going like this. Then we're going to draw another line going down like that. So we've got 3 lines now going down. We're then going to draw some lines going the other way. I'm going to draw one going straight across like that, and another going straight across like that sort of thing. And then what we do is we just block it in. So we're going to start here in the middle. And then we just alternate the blocks. Just like that sort of thing. Similarly, we can do stuff like, for example, on this individual here, we can draw some kind of just like orc markings, and these generally look like little kind of teeth basically. So we're just going to, here on the shoulder, just going to draw like a little circle, and then just a triangle basically coming off it. Like that. And so with that red detailing done, we're then going to use some Black Legion. And we're going to use this to do kind of a similar thing. And we're going to do this on things like the white detail. So for example, what we can do on some of the missiles and things is we can add some things like triangles. So we're just going to do that exact thing. I'm going to add a little triangle coming down like so. And then we're going to block it in. like that. And we're going to do that between each of the fins of the missile around the rim like that. But additionally, for example, what we're also going to do is we're going to do a really large checkerboard on the tabard, and that's much the same deal as we've already done. So what we want to do is we want to just start by drawing out our pattern by drawing a line. That comes all the way along. Just like that. And then we want to draw some more lines. Going along the tabard. Like that. And we'll actually add no we won't. Maybe we will. Like that sort of thing. And then we need to start drawing our other ones going in a different direction. And here we're kind of following the flow of the cloth. Like that. And then, as before, we're just going to start blocking it in. So as I often say, Just make sure you've got the box art open in front of you. You can see a couple of bits of inspiration on where to put this sort of thing. And then just take your time and make your way across the kill team. So with that all done, we've actually got a little bit more Black Legion detailing to do, and that is to add some hazard striping to all of our yellow cables. Now, similarly to what we've already kind of done, the best way to do this is to just kind of pick it out by just drawing out the pattern and then coming in and blocking it in again afterwards. So you just move across the cables like that sort of thing, and then block it in. And then once you've done it at one angle, that will give you the guideposts to do it at the next angle. So with that all done, our Wrecka Krew are now finished. So we can pop them to one side. We can take them off the painting handles because we're now going to quickly work on our bomb squigs. And they're not actually that difficult, these ones. They've gone for a very, very, very simple recipe on these by the looks of things. So that is exactly what we're going to do now. So now that we've got the orcs out of the way, we can take our bomb squigs, put them on the handles, and here we go. Here is a bomb squig. Now this is going to be the same across both of them, and the colour we're going to be using first is Blood Angels Red, and we're going to be applying this over the top of all of the squigs' skin, basically. However, one slight addendum to that is that on this one there are some sticks of dynamite in the mouth. I'm going to apply these over the top of that as well. So with all that Blood Angels Red applied, we're then going to take some Volupus Pink, and we're going to apply this over top of the teeth and the gums and the tongue. With that all done, we're then going to take some Black Legion, popular paint in this video, and we're going to apply this over top of the claws and over the top of the fuse on the dynamite and any other fuses there might be. Next up, we're going to take some Cygor Brown. We're going to apply this over top of the leather straps. Next up, we're going to take some Carroburg Crimson and we're going to apply this over top of the Squig's Flesh to shade all of that red, but not the dynamite sticks. So with that done, just to keep things nice and simple, we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors and we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining details. So with all that Iron Warriors applied, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this to shade the silver. So with that all done, our squigs are now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. So we're now going to take them to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some highlights. So first of these is going to be not really a highlight, it's more of another detail, but we're going to take some Flash Gitz yellow. I'm going to use this to pick out the eyes. And with that Flash Gitz yellow applied, we're then going to take a tiny little dot of Black Legion and we're going to apply this right in the middle. With that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to pick out the squig's teeth. And next up, because it would simply be rude not to, we're going to take some thinned down Squig Orange. And we're going to use this to highlight the squig's red flesh. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone and we're going to use this to highlight the black details such as the fuse. And so with that then done, we're going to finish off the squigs by taking some thinned down Ironbreaker. We're just going to use that to highlight the silver. So with our bases now complete in the same style as, well, what we do all the time around here, Stone and Mud, Tyrant Skull, some Tufts, some Gamer's Grass, our Wrecka Krew are now finished, and I really enjoyed painting these. It was more of a kind of nice thing to kind of revisit doing another Ork kill team. The Ork Commandos is quite a popular one around here, so it's really cool to do this next one, and I really like how that black metallic armor has come out. It's a real treat, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.